Star Wars Episode VII, Shadows of the Past. Chapter 2, Heiress to the Empire. In the quiet depths of the VII Temple, a single containment chamber glows. Within, Rey sits bound to a restraining seat, armor scorched and visor removed. The magenta light of the cell reflects in her tired eyes. Beyond the energy field stand Grandmaster Luke Skywalker, calm but watchful. Mara Jade, arms folded, her stance protective. Ahsoka Tano, silent, reading every motion. And towering above them all, Master Naro Salar, his pale eyes cold and unreadable. He is the first to step forward.
You led a strike against the Jedi Archives. The blood of our brothers and sisters is on your hands. What was taken?
Rey meets his gaze but says nothing. Her jaw tightens, defiance without words.
Silence is not strength, girl. It is fear.
Luke senses the crack of anger under his colleague's composure. The tension in the room thickens. He raises a hand, calm but firm.
That's enough, Master Salar. It's better if I handle this.
For a moment, the older man's jaw tightens, but he inclines his head and steps back. Luke crosses the threshold, the light of the containment field flickering across his robes.
You came here for something. What was worth all this death?
You wouldn't understand.
Well, I certainly won't, unless you give me a chance.
He closes his eyes, reaching through the Force, careful, gentle, searching for her intent. A flicker of darkness touches his senses, cold and ancient. Pain sears through Luke's mind. The sound of that laughter, old, impossible, throws him back. He staggers, breaking the connection.
You're his daughter. You're a Palpatine.
The chamber stills. Beyond the glass, Naro Salar's voice erupts.
What?
The word crashes through the room like thunder. Mara straightens in alarm. Ahsoka's eyes narrow. Luke steps back from the prisoner, regaining his breath.
And now you know. Are you going to kill me for it?
Yes, if justice still means anything.
Luke turns sharply toward him, his eyes narrowing, displeasure flickering across his face like a shadow. The restrained calm in his tone is the only thing keeping the room from breaking apart.
Killing her is not the answer. She's young, barely any older than Ben. It's clear that she has spent her life in darkness. If there was hope for Darth Vader, then there is hope for her.
Hope? You speak of the Butcher of Worlds as if he were a saint. Your father's redemption was convenience, nothing more than a dying man's guilt.
You're wrong, Master Salar. You weren't there at the end. He chose the light. He chose to save us all.
The air between them hums with unspoken history, peers divided by belief.
Arguing about ghosts won't change what's in front of us. She's alive, and her fate still needs to be decided.
Agreed. But Yavin is obviously no place for this judgment. We'll take her to Coruscant before anyone else decides she shouldn't live to stand trial.
Naro's pale eyes narrow, but he says nothing more. Luke steps back to the controls, reactivating the containment field. The girl lowers her gaze, expression unreadable. Outside the cell, The masters file out in silence, the storm between them far from over. Some time passes. The temple has grown quiet again. In the Jedi medical wing, the scent of sterilized air lingers as droids move between curtained beds. Luke Skywalker steps inside to check on his nephew, to see how the boy has recovered from both his wounds and his choices. Ben Solo sits awake on a medbed, pale but alert. His right arm, now a sleek prosthetic of brushed durasteel, flexes in rhythm with the droid's adjustments. He stares at it without expression, the faint hum of servos filling the silence.
You always were impatient. You should still be resting.
It's weird. Almost like I can still feel it. My old hand.
You'll get used to it. Takes time to adjust to the change.
Oh, and we both know I'm famous for my patience.
Ben.
Luke hesitates, his expression shadowed with the weight of what he's about to say.
There's something you should know. About the girl.
Rey, what about her?
We've decided to send the girl to Coruscant for judgment.
Why Coruscant? She attacked the Jedi Temple here. It's not like she's a political prisoner.
Kid, I don't know how to tell you this. She's the daughter of Emperor Palpatine.
What?
I felt it in the Force. You don't forget a presence like that.
Then, why isn't she dead already?
Because killing her won't undo what's been done. We have to understand why she came here in the first place.
Then let me go with the transport. If she's a Palpatine, it's our duty as Skywalkers to make sure another one of them doesn't rise again.
Then, no, you're not ready. You're still healing, and you're angry. That's a dangerous mix.
You think I can't handle myself?
I think you made that very clear when you maimed one of your fellow apprentices in front of a crowd and then made the decision to run off without us and straight into another fight, which resulted in a large majority of the Jedi archives being destroyed. Ben, a Jedi has to think before they act.
For a long moment, neither speaks. Only the quiet hum of machinery fills the space between them.
I've assigned my own Jedi to the transport, people I trust. You will remain here until fully recovered.
Right. Because that's what I'm best at. Getting left behind.
Luke watches him for a moment longer, sadness softening his voice. Not being able to find the words, he turns and leaves. Ben exhales, staring again at the metallic hand. Across the ward, another patient lies awake. The apprentice whose hands Ben severed earlier that day, now being fitted with a pair of gleaming prosthetics. Ben's gaze lingers, and the truth settles in as he looks back at his own hand. For the first time since the duel, regret begins to take root. As night drapes over the Yavin Temple, in the shadowed hangar bay, rows of transports rest beneath dim floodlights, their hulls gleaming silver in the darkness. Between stacks of cargo crates and power cells, Ben Solo moves silently, his robe drawn tight, the hum of machinery covering his footsteps. Ahead, near the loading ramp of the prisoner transport, two voices cut through the noise. The sharp, commanding tone of Master Naro Salar and the steady calm of Luke Skywalker.
He is my apprentice, Skywalker. The decision is mine to make. That boy needs to be expelled from the Order before he drags it down with him.
Ben made a terrible choice. No one's denying that. But let's not forget that it was your apprentices who mocked the death of his mother. Mocking the loss of a loved one isn't the Jedi way either.
Ben pauses in the shadow of a fuel line, his breath caught. The words sting, yet hearing his uncle defend him brings a flicker of warmth, a fleeting sense that he isn't entirely alone. As the argument fades in the background, he slips toward the transport, unseen among the workers and the loading droids. He disappears into the hold, sealing the hatch behind him. In moments, the transport lifts from the hangar bay, carrying both prisoner and stowaway toward Coruscant. Hours pass in the blur of hyperspace. The prisoner transport cuts through the void like a silent arrow, now closer to Coruscant than to Yavin Temple. From the shadows of the lower deck, Ben Solo steps into the light. The Jedi guarding the bridge spin in surprise, hands already moving toward their weapons.
Solo? What are you doing on this ship?
Relax. I'm not here to cause trouble.
You weren't assigned to this mission, Solo. You should still be in recovery.
I needed answers, and I wasn't going to get them lying in a med bay.
You will have plenty of time to explain yourself when we reach Coruscant. Until then, stay out of the way.
Ben hesitates, then turns down the adjoining corridor toward the containment cell.
You're not going in there. Master Skywalker gave us clear orders, and after what you did in the arena, I don't trust you not to kill her.
Ben looks at him for a long moment, then unclips his lightsaber from his belt.
Then here. Insurance. I'm not going to kill her. I just need to talk to her. She maimed me.
The guard studies him, conflicted, then lowers the barrier. Ben steps inside. Rey sits against the wall, bound and motionless, her eyes locked on him, an intense, searing stare. Ben removes his glove, revealing a prosthetic hand. He flexes the metal fingers, the soft whir of servos breaking the silence.
Look what you did to me.
It suits you. You were already as dull as a droid. Now you've got the hand to match.
Just the kind of response I'd expect from a Palpatine.
Don't call me that. He's the reason my mother is dead. I hate his name.
My mother died when I was young too. You don't see me using that as an excuse to blow up temples.
The moment the words leave his mouth, Ben pauses, his own hypocrisy echoing back at him. Just hours ago, he maimed someone he'd known his entire life for mocking his mother's death. The realization hits him like a weight, stealing the breath from his chest. He looks away, guilt flickering beneath his calm exterior. Rey notices the hesitation. She doesn't know why, but she senses the crack, the uncertainty, and seizes it.
And what gives you the right to judge me? You think that robe makes you better than me? You're just another cog in a dogmatic cult.
Her words cut sharper with each breath, until the floor beneath them shudders violently.
We're being boarded. Multiple contacts.
What? How? We're still in hyperspace.
The transport lurches violently. A metallic clang echoes through the hull. An impact, a docking clamp biting down. Ben curses under his breath, Realizing his lightsaber is still with the guard, he rushes out of the cell as the sounds of combat grow nearer. The corridor is chaos. The Jedi guards fall one by one, overwhelmed by figures in dark armor wielding vibrostaffs, weapons that crackle with energy at their tips. Their movements are fluid, precise, too controlled, too fast. Ben doesn't need the Force to recognize what he's seeing.
Force users.
He charges into the fray, barehanded, relying on the Force and instinct. He ducks beneath the swings, grabs the shaft of a staff, and sends its wielder crashing into the bulkhead. Another comes from behind. Ben turns, slamming a shoulder into the attacker's chest and throwing him off balance. For a moment, he holds his own, grace and aggression in perfect motion. But then more come, surrounding him. One strikes, another parries, a third sweeps low. The vibrostaffs hammer against his defenses.
They're not with me. You have to let me help. Look at them. Those aren't my shadow guard.
Another blow lands. Ben staggers, the energy crackling up his prosthetic arm. He glances toward the cell, sees Rey still bound, and makes his decision.
Don't make me regret this.
Oh, please.
Together, they fight, back to back. Rey snatches a fallen staff, spinning it with practiced precision, while Ben unleashes a focused force push that sends two attackers sprawling. The last of the boarding party hits the deck hard, unconscious.
You'd better know how to handle a turret.
I can manage.
Ben drops into the pilot's chair. Rey slides into the gunner's seat. The transport bursts free of the docking clamps as Ben throws switches on the console, rolling hard into the void. 3 starfighters streak after it, their lasers cutting crimson lines across the stars. Ben's hands grip the controls, sweat beads along his brow as the ship lurches.
Hold on! This bucket wasn't built for combat.
It just needs to hold together long enough to get us to Coruscant.
Rey's aim is precise. Turbo blaster bursts blossom into fireballs as one enemy fighter spirals away in flames.
Nice shot!
Don't sound so surprised.
The ship jolts as a laser barrage tears across its flank. Panels spark, systems flicker.
Damn, they've got good aim.
Have you tried spinning?
Oh, how didn't I think of that one?
Only one remains, looping behind them like a predator. Ben twists the controls sharply. Inertia groans through the cockpit. The enemy overshoots. Rey tracks, fires, and gone.
I think that's the last of them.
I'm coming over to the cockpit.
Moments later, Rey steps into the cockpit. Smoke curls from a sparkling panel. The blue tunnel of hyperspace shimmers beyond the viewport. Ben doesn't turn. His voice carries the edge of suspicion.
You're not going to stab me in the back, are you?
Please. I'm not an idiot. Coruscant is the closest planet. Whoever attacked us clearly wanted me dead. I don't have my weapon, and this ship is falling apart around us. I'd have to be suicidal to turn on you now.
She drops into the co-pilot seat beside him. For a time, neither speaks. Only the low thrum of the engines fills the space between them. Then, quietly, Rey breaks the silence.
How did your mother die?
She was a senator. Lobbied, trying to end the fighting. Pushing for a treaty between the New Republic and the Imperial Remnant. Someone didn't like that. They assassinated her. Couldn't prove who did it, but the evidence pointed to Imperial Royalists. Ironically, her death forced both sides to the table. The peace treaty was signed in her name. Her death brought peace.
Rey studies him, realization dawning across her face.
You're the son of Senator Leia Organa, aren't you? I've seen her in the old recordings. She was strong and kind. The galaxy lost something rare when she died.
Ben stays silent, sorrow plainly visible on his face.
What about your father? Where is he?
He is different. My uncle talks about him sometimes, when he thinks I'm not listening. After my mother's death, he changed, blamed himself. When I was 5, he handed me over to the Jedi for training. Said I'd be safer with them. He still visited for a while, but by the time I was 7, he'd stopped coming altogether.
Rey turns her gaze to the streaking stars outside the cockpit window. When she speaks again, her voice has lost its edge.
I lost my father when I was 10. Not my blood father. The man who raised and trained me since I was a baby. He kept me hidden, safe. When the Remnant wanted to use me as a symbol, he died making sure they didn't find me.
Silence again. Not cold this time, but heavy with unspoken understanding. 2 children of war, bound by loss they never chose.
We're coming up on Coruscant.
Outside the viewport, the blue tunnel collapses into a sea of distant lights. The city planet fills the viewport, Coruscant's lights stretching from horizon to horizon. Their battered transport limps through the upper atmosphere, smoke trailing like a comet's tail. Then, the radio sputters to life.
Transport VII, this is Coruscant Traffic Control. Due to your sustained damage, you are cleared for emergency reroute. Proceed to Auxiliary Landing Platform 271. Coordinates transmitted.
I've got a bad feeling about this.
The transport shudders through the smog-layer skies, its hull groaning from the stress. Flames lick the wingtips as they break through the clouds toward a lonely pad jutting from one of Coruscant's lower spires. Below, the landing lights flicker to life. Too quiet, too empty. The ramp lowers, metal groaning under their boots. For a moment, there is only the sound of wind and distant traffic. Then, movement.
Down!
Figures surge from the shadows, black armored soldiers and masked assassins, half with blasters, half with crackling vibrostaffs. They surround the wrecked transport in a tightening ring.
Seems whenever I'm with you, trouble follows.
The Navy stopped following me?
Blue and red bolts cut through the smoke. Ben deflects 2 shots, spins, and force shoves another assailant off the platform. Rey fights barehanded, striking with brutal efficiency, disarming, disabling, surviving. But they're outnumbered. Every step forward costs them ground. The air fills with heat and chaos. The transport erupts behind them, a blast of flame and pressure as they both hurl themselves to the deck. Time stretches, sound fades, only the distant echo of fire remains. Ben blinks through the haze, ears ringing. Rey's hand grips the durasteel beside him as both struggle to rise. And then, through the smoke, 3 silhouettes emerge, their armor gleaming gunmetal in the firelight. Shadow guards. They stand framed against the inferno, silent, implacable, their visors glowing red through the haze.
Finn, I knew you'd find me.
Ben turns towards her, realization dawning. Friend or foe, he can't yet tell. The fire roars louder as the shadow guards advance.